Hello, this is Esther from TechWise, and I'm going to be taking you through project management. So the very first thing we're going to look at, it's a project type. That is the very first thing we're going to come up with. So a project type classifies projects in the organization. So you have different projects. It's always good to classify them. So we're going to come up with a project type. Before that, things we're going to look at, we shall look at projects, then task management, timesheet management, and then project accounting. So there, I'm searching for a project type, and then edit full form so that you can be able to see other fields and fill them in. So that is the project type I'm coming up with. So that project type is going to help us classify projects in the organization. So that is it. Agriculture facility setup, and then we can give it a description. It's always good so that at least the person who is going through this project can be aware of what's about this project. So the description, this agricultural facility setup includes constructing or setting up agriculture structures. So that is the description. I'm going to so you can always come up with any description as long as it's describing this project type. So I'm going to save it. Then after saving, we are going to go on with coming up with a first thing is project type, then project. So that project list will show us the list of projects we have. Then you can add a project. We know that a project is a planned piece of work designed to produce something new, right? So those are the fields, and you're going to start filling them in. So you can come up with a project name that you're handling at hand, right? So the project name, I'm coming up with it. It's a greenhouse construction, right? Greenhouse construction at 2 acres. So I'm assuming this project is for construction. So that the project type, it's the other one we created. So you specify it there, you choose it as agriculture facility setup, and then is it active? Yes, it is. And then the percentage complete method, I want the completion of the project to be tracked by task completion. That is why I've chosen it. Then template, we don't have it. Then expected start date, end date, priority, you can as well change it. Then customer details, that is where you attach the customer details. Remember, this project we are working it for a customer. So I've specified there plus the sales order, right? Because those ones are already there in the system because there is a cycle we follow. So they're already there in the system. Why? Because they were created by the CRM employee. So there, you can as well. So the sales order wasn't there, so we are going to create it. But the customer is there, so the sales order is there. So the sales order is part of the sales cycle, right? So you fill in, and then you come to items, right? So the item, I'm choosing that. It's just a dummy item, right? So in any project, you'll have the items, all that. So you will have to work hand in hand in this system, right? Because there are different parts for different roles. So I've added it there. So these users, those are the users of the system, like the users who are going to see like the customer portal, the website, the customer portal. So the costing and billing, there you're trying to estimate the money for the project. Then monitor progress if you want to monitor the progress, right? So you save. So after saving, we shall have now our project in the system, greenhouse construction 2 acres. So while handling a customer portal, you'll come there under users. So that is where you'll put the emails for the users whom you want this project to be visible to via their customer portal. Yeah. So from there, we're going to go on to our project template, right? So project template, for it, what it does, it has predefined set of tasks with schedules that can be added to a project. Yeah. So that is the project template. That is where you add tasks. So you can always use that project template across different projects. You get, so what you do, you just, let me say a project is for construction, so you have put there the tasks. You'll be adding tasks, or so you'll just be using it throughout those projects for construction, right? So you won't need to create it again. So project type, we are going to choose external. Why? Because we are coming up with something for a customer, so it's external. But if at all it was internal, it would be, for example, employee onboarding. That is an internal project. Yeah. So that is the task. Yeah, so we are adding there the task. Then the project, you can specify the project, which is that. Then the issue, apparently there's no issue. Then the type, you can put the task type if you have it. Then I'm going to choose the color. Why? Because it will help us during visualization. Yeah. And then the status, it's open. The priority, you can choose the priority to high. Then the weight, and then the parent task. If it's there, you add it there. Then the timeline, this is the expected start date and then expected end date. Yeah. And then percentage progress, if you want it there. Also, you can put the expected time in hours. You can as well check is milestone, right? So even task description, you put it there. That will help in easily like describing that task, yeah, by someone maybe who is just cross-checking this project, right? So they'll have a clue on most of the things, even if they weren't the ones to create them. Yeah. So that is the task description. So here dependencies, if there are other tasks that this task we are creating is dependent on, you put them there, right? So more info, that is why you put the department. Yeah. So the task is there under our project template. Our project template is agriculture facility setup, right? Yeah. So we are going to add another task, for example, procure materials. Then we go through the other steps, right? So you come up with the task name, which is the same as the subject. And the project is already there. The issue, the type, then the color, very important for like visualization. And then the status, and then the priority. Yeah, if at all it's high, low, medium. The weight, the parent task. Then the timeline, the expected start date, expected end date, right? And then the expected time in hours, you can as well put that. Percentage progress is milestone, right? So the details, again, you have to at least describe this task. Yeah, so you give it a description so that anyone passing through this project can know, oh, this task, oh, this is what it does. Okay, like that. Yeah. So that is the description I'm putting there. Then the dependencies, this is where you put tasks that this task you are creating is dependent on. Yeah, and then you can save. So a learning session, I'm just going to leave that. So we are going to, you can always add more tasks, right? It depends on the project you're handling. Yeah, you can add tasks here. So we go back to our project, and then here we can see the tasks that we created. Remember, we created them in the project template, so we can be able to see them here in this project. And then we shall proceed to visualizing them and also task management, right? Yeah, visualizing them and then task management. Yeah, very important, because it's always good to manage these tasks in an organization. Yeah, managing them, assigning them, right? updating these tasks. Yes. So that is what we are going to do. So we're going to go to this project that we created, greenhouse construction, 2 acres. And then we start the visualization. So that is, we're going to start with a Gantt chart. We know that a Gantt chart, for it, what it does, it shows tasks, how tasks are linked to each other, and the sequence in which they need to be completed based on their start and end dates. So that is what you saw there. So those are the advantages of the colors. They help to distinguish them. So this is also the calendar view. You can see this starts at this time and then ends at this date. Even the Gantt chart, right? So even you see the colors are so distinct, they're not the same. So also the tree view, it shows you that this task is the first, the other one is the second. Like that. So we're going to go back to the project and we see how we can manage these tasks, because it's always good to manage the tasks. You assign them, you update them, like that. So you can see that the 2 tasks created, they are there. So we are having procure materials and then site assessment. So those are the tasks we created. So we're going to start with site assessment. We see how we can assign them, right? So that is the user group. The user group I created, it's called employees. Then I added the other employees, right? So these are the employees that we can assign to. You can either assign to both of them or you just select one. And then you can change as well the priority, and then you put the comments, right? So that comment, the user whom you have assigned this task to will be able to see that comment. So that is the comment we have put. So after adding, after assigning them, that message is going to come that it has been shared to them. Read access rates, you get. So also procure materials, we do the same. We assign that task. So the user group, you can as well come up with several user groups depending on your needs as an organization. So this one, I can assign them to 2 people. So they'll be able to receive emails. Whenever you assign them tasks, they'll be able to receive emails and they will know, okay, I have a task to complete. Let me check it out. I see, right? So even this has been shared with those 2 users, you get. So they'll be able to receive emails. So from there, we're going to see, we are assuming that, okay, I'm the one, I've received the email. So you log into the system to update this task. If at all you're working on it, you go and change the status to working. If at all you have completed it, you go and change the status to completed. So I'm assuming I've completed this. So you put the completed by and then the completed date, you get, and then you save. So the status is going to change to completed. That is updating a task, you get. So even there you won't see the other E, because the E represents your first name to whom this task was assigned to. So I'm assuming this one, it is still under working. So again, when you go back, you'll see the status change to working, meaning that task is still under working. This is really a good practice, so that at least we keep track on the tasks, we keep track on the project's progress. Because if at all the tasks are not being done, the status is just there, it's not changing. Really, that's not good. So it's always a good habit. Whenever you complete something, you go and be like, okay, I've completed. Okay, I'm still working. Okay, pending. After you have completed and really everything is fine, you can close that task. So it's really good to carry out task management. Updating, very important. So far we have looked at how to come up with projects, right? Projects are meaning project type, project template, then task management, creating the tasks, updating the tasks, you get visualizing these tasks so that, okay, we know, a bit of a report, visualizing, you know that we are starting this and this and this and this, you get. So from there, we're going to go to timesheet management. So timesheet management, we shall start with activity types. From there, activity cost, then timesheet, then billing based on timesheet, right? So we're going to start with an activity type. So an activity type, for it, what it does, it defines and tracks the types of work performed on a project, you get. So we are going to start, we create one, so that is it. So I've called it structure assembly. Then you can put the costing rate and then the billing rate, you get. So the costing rate and then the billing rate. Then afterwards you can save. So that is the first activity type we have come up with. You can come up with 2 activity types. Then afterwards you can activity costs for those activity types, you get. So we're going to come up with another one. So you edit full form. So that is the other one. So I can call it a material procurement. Then I add the costing rate and then the billing rate. Then from there, we can save. So that is how we come up with activity types. Remember, timesheet management, you come up with activity types, activity costs, timesheets, billing based on timesheets, you get. So after that, we save, right? So after saving, we are going to go on with activity costs. We know that, an activity cost records the billing and costing rate of an employee against a particular activity type, right? So we are going to start with one of the activity types we created. So we can start with, site assessment. So I'm going to type in there. So I'm going to type in structure assembly rather. So it's that one of the activity types we created. Then we put the employee. I've selected the employee. The employee is already there. Then the billing rate and then the costing rate. You get. So after there, putting the billing and then the costing rate, we can go ahead to save. So now, the other one is 900. This one is 300. So that is what I've come up with. So you save, right? So you can see a scenario for structure assembly. So we can add another activity type. Then after that, we select an employee. So that is material procurement. Then the employee, let's use this time around Timothy, right? We can choose Timothy. Then the billing rate, and then the costing rate, right? So there we can save. So now, we have now our 2 activity types, activity costs. So the next thing we're going to look at, it's a timesheet. A timesheet records the number of hours worked by an employee on a particular task and project, right? So we are going to come up with one timesheet. So the company, you can choose your company. So here I'm going to use Techwise, right? Then I can choose the customer. Get the customer that we want to bill. Remember, each activity type is assigned to an employee, right? So here we're coming up with a timesheet. So that is the customer, the currency, then the project we are working on, you get. So the hours worked on that project, we shall be able to bill this customer of hours. Good. So that is it. Then from there, you can add the employee details. Remember, I told you this timesheet, for it records the number of hours worked by an employee on any particular task and project. So the employees there, when you select, the name comes and then the department. So we can select the activity type and then you edit so that we can add more other details. So you can put from what time to what time. Yeah. From time to what time. Then you can put the expected hours, because when you put from what time to what time, the hours will come here down, then the expected hours. Then you can put the description, right? And then as well, you can select the task, right? So that is the task. And under that project, so is billable is going to, it shows the time the client will be billed. You get, yeah, the time the client will be billed. Then you can as well add there some notes if you have them down. Yeah, if you have the notes down, you can add them. And from there, yeah, you can save. So there is something there up like a message, so we can go back and we change some few things. Yeah, when it comes to that time, yeah, because with some time I'd created, yeah, some time back. So I'm going to change this date. Yeah, so we change the date to that. So that is fine now. So we can go back. If you want to go back, you click that arrow there. Yeah, so I guess our timesheet is now ready and fine. You save it. So after saving, you have to submit because it was still in draft. So after submitting, it's now saved in the system. So after coming up with a timesheet, we are going to bill based on timesheet. So here we can come up with a sales invoice, a salary slip. So we are starting with a sales invoice. So I've selected the item, right? So after selecting the item, everything will come plus the details of the timesheet. Why? Because remember, we can create a sales invoice or a salary slip from a timesheet. That is billing based on timesheet. You get. So now here, this is where the sales cycle comes, because we have been able to come up with a sales invoice. Then from there, we shall come up with a payment. You get. Yeah, so you save. After saving, you submit. So that is where the sales invoice comes in project management, because sales cycle and purchase cycle both come in here. So here, sales invoice itself, but then the status is unpaid. So we can log a payment. Good. So logging a payment, we are going to create a payment entry. So assuming this customer has paid, right? If the customer has paid, so you log a payment. Yeah, after the payment is logged, the status of this sales invoice is going to change to paid. Yeah, so that is how the sales invoice, the sales cycle rather, comes in project management. Yeah. So even we shall see how the purchase cycle comes in project management. So sales cycle comes in project management under timesheet management. Yeah, so we are logging a payment. So here I'm assuming the customer has paid the money. Yeah, so the mode of payment, I'm going to choose cash, but we can have several modes of payment. Yeah, so everything will be there. Yeah, so we can continue to save. You can continue to save. And yeah, so the status has changed. Yeah, when you go back to that sales invoice, the status has changed to paid, right? Yeah. So from there, even I will go back to our timesheet. So under timesheet, you can as well come up with, you can create a salary slip. So apparently, we are not going to come up with that, but we shall look at it under payroll, that payroll module rather. That is where you can come up with the salary slip, because you'll come up with salary components, salary structures, you assign them, then you come up with the salary slip at the end of it all, right? So from there, we are going to come up with, now the next thing we are going to go to, it's project accounting. So here, project accounting, the very first thing, you come up with a budget, because we are tracking expenses, tracking project revenue, and then analyzing project profitability, right? So we first come up with a budget. So a budget, there you put the name. So I'm assuming this budget is for a project. So you have to change that budget against, then you put the project, then you specify there the project for this budget. Then monthly distribution, I created equal monthly distribution. You can as well create yours. So the fiscal year or the calendar year is 2024, right? So I'm going to check those boxes. Applicable on material requests, applicable on purchase order, then applicable on booking actual expenses. So applicable on material requests. So applicable on material requests, here it ensures that services and goods requested are within the budget. Then applicable on purchase order, for it, it makes sure that purchases are within the allocated budget. Then applicable on booking actual expenses, enables validations when the actual expenses are being booked. Then from there, we go to budget accounts. So this is where you specify the accounts and allocate money. So it means that in any of the expenses we are going to carry out, the money is already there allocated in those budgets. So that is why we shall be picking the money we are going to use. And if we try to exceed the money we allocated in these accounts, an error will be thrown. You get? So I'm assuming here you want to purchase something for that project. So if at all you try to exceed the money in the allocated budget, an error will be thrown, right? So the very first thing under project accounting is coming up with a project budget. Then from there we're going to go to, so the very first, the next thing we shall look at a material request, which is a document used to request materials or items for production or project purposes, right? So we are going to add there a new material request. So we want to purchase some things. So here is the thing. Then required by, you can put that there. Then the items we want, you get. So remember, this is a document that we want, that we're going to use to request materials for production or project purposes. So that is the item. So there we can go and try to change some things. So accounting details, that is where you shall find the expense account. So we are going to choose one of the accounts that we allocated money to. So that means that this item, if at all we are trying to purchase it, the money is going to come from that account. So cost center, I'm going to, and then put the project, right? So I'm going to put there the project. So that is the project. And those are the main things. And maybe the quantity. You can change as well the quantity. So that item, it's really a dummy one. You'll be using the ones for your specific projects. So afterwards, you save and then you submit. So it's going to be, because we didn't exceed the money in the allocated account that we specified, which is administrative expenses. So from there, we're going to come up with the purchase order. Why? Because now purchase cycle comes in project accounting, right? So we're going to first come up with a purchase order. So from a budget, we go to a material request. From material request, we go to a purchase order. So that is where the purchase cycle comes in. So we have seen that Under timesheet management, that is where the sales cycle comes in. Under project accounting, that is where the purchase cycle comes in, right? So I'm going to specify here the supplier. I'd created that supplier, Farm Supplies is our supplier, right? And then that is the item plus the quantity we specified. So we can save. Yeah. Then after there, we're going to go on to a purchase invoice. Then from the purchase invoice, I'm assuming now we have paid, we shall log a payment. Good. Yeah. So to receive and bill, now we have to come up with a purchase invoice. Yeah. So we are seeing how the project accounting module now integrates the sales cycle and then the purchase cycle, right? Yeah. So from there, you're going to come up with a purchase invoice, right? Yeah, so a purchase invoice. So here it means that the supplier are now billing us for the delivered goods. You get, yeah, for the delivered goods or services. So that is the purchase invoice. Then from the purchase invoice, I'm assuming we pay, then there we shall log a payment, and that's all. So that is how a project management is integrating the sales cycle and then the purchase cycle. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and I save. Then again, I'm assuming we have paid. We shall log a payment, right? Yeah, then we enter the mode of payment. Entering the mode of payment, which is cash. Yeah. And we save and we submit. So that is the end of project management. Yeah, we have seen how we can integrate the sales cycle and then the purchase cycle in project management, starting from projects, then from projects, then task management, then timesheet management, then project accounting. Sales cycle comes in timesheet management. Purchase cycle comes in project accounting. Yes, so please feel free to reach out in case of any inquiry, any issue. Yeah, and please do practice. Yeah. Yes. So this is the end of the video tutorial on project management. Yeah, thank you.